Okay. Hello, hello.
Hi, gang. Hi, hi, hi. How are you, Melanie?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm just now realizing how hard it's gonna be for us not to, like, podcast right now.
I know, being like, welcome to
Welcome to Casting Friendship.
Yeah, I know. Feels really weird. I had to remind myself. I almost forgot that we were gonna be on camera because I was like, oh, it's just gonna be a podcast. Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
I had to do the
Wait
same
a
thing. I, like,
minute.
rushed home from the gym, took a real fast shower, put on my hair and makeup at 7 PM. I was like, "This is weird."
Yeah, yeah. I definitely got really confused.
We're creatures of habit.
Well, okay. Welcome to not casting friendship. Welcome to Tea Time with Melanie. Today I am here with Kara, and we're just taking I guess it's like a mid-season like check-in with the DM. I remember we first chatted like right at the beginning of the campaign, and I think right now you said are you about like a third of the way in?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
We
we
like
just
finished our
started
first
act
act.
2 out of 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. We finished the first act, and there's gonna be 3 acts total.
Yeah. Yeah, like every good play.
Yeah, perfect. So was this like planned out already from the beginning, the different acts?
Um, I was having trouble deciding if it was gonna be a 2-act or a 3-act. And I think the way the timing fell with the holiday, having a winter break, and where we were narratively was just, like, such a perfect stopping point, but, there's still so much left to the story, so I was like, "This is definitely we're not halfway yet." So
Yeah.
it went from a 2-act, I think, to a 3-act mostly in the last couple weeks that we were planning for that winter break. So,
Yeah.
but I think it work out really well because I can see where the next break is going to be and where the third act will begin already. So, I think it's going to be pretty fun, pretty juicy. And this is going to be a really fun, I think, set of tasks that you guys need to complete with this part of the story.
Okay, so
Interesting.
while we're at the Anthenium or a little bit after that?
All of the above.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get too into it, are you drinking anything tonight? Do you have like there's water?
Water, hydration.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I have like a green tea.
I was just realizing, we're on well water now. I've always been on city water, but since we've lived in this
Hmm.
house now for 5 or 6 years, we've been on well water, and we have been realizing that, like, losing the minerals and the additives that are put in, like, city water has really messed with us. Like, you really don't absorb, the same, like, hydration with water that's just I've been reading about it, and I'm like, "This doesn't make any sense. It should be the most pure." But no, it's you really do need some of the additives in order for water to hydrate you like it should. It's
That's
crazy.
so weird because that's not intuitive because if you had told me if you had asked me which one has more minerals,
You'd think it'd
I
be well
would
water.
I would have thought it's the well water because it's like
Yeah.
from the ground and there's minerals in the ground.
Yeah. What doesn't help, you're right, but we lose some of those minerals because we have to filter it, in a home filter. Like, we have a small, like,
Oh.
home filter under the sink, so we have a separate tap that double filters it. And not really for any reason. Like, all of our, like, shower taps and that stuff, that's not filtered, but we have a couple, like, our drinking water taps are all filtered. So that's taking away stuff that you need in water. And we
Okay.
realized, like, Like, we've gotten more cavities, like little things from not having
Oh, because of the
fluoride.
fluoride.
Because of the fluoride, yeah. We've both gotten cavities since moving in here for the first time, like, in our lives, really. Like little things. And I realize my hangovers are worse because even though I'm drinking a ton of water, I'm always a little dehydrated.
You need some like electrolytes.
Yeah. That's what my husband uses powdered Powerade. Like, he literally has a
Okay,
big
yeah,
bucket
yeah, yeah.
and he
I
puts that in
have,
his. I'm like, that's so clever.
yeah, I feel like this is exactly the same thing, but I use like liquid IV. I feel
Yes,
like
I
that's
love
just,
liquid.
I feel like that's just like marketed Powerade.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's well marketed, but
um,
it works.
I
Damn it.
fell for it. So
Yes,
I purchased
I'm a
it.
level 5
Yeah.
susceptible.
Yeah. I made the purchase. Um, wow, that's
Yeah.
so
So
interesting. So are you
yeah.
drinking your well water or are you drinking like do you put anything in it now that you've made this realization?
I'm bad. I still don't. I need to, but I don't. I like flavorless water. Like,
Yeah.
I don't always want flavor, especially when I'm eating a meal. I don't want like a side of Powerade. Like, I'm
Yeah, that's
all about my
true.
palate or like
Yeah.
the flavor palettes of things, and so I don't always want that. So I should start to do it just when I'm drinking my water throughout the day. Like, I go through 3 or 4 of these cups a day at least.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I need to start adding when I'm just sitting at my desk and sipping, and then doing a glass of real water when I eat. So
Yeah.
I'll start. I'll start. I promise. It's probably gonna be liquid IV though because I don't love Powerade.
Yeah, like I do feel like I did fall for the marketing. I am very susceptible. But they just have like really good flavors. And
Yeah.
I think the hunt for me, I'm like a huge Costco shopper and I had it at Costco, so I'm like, yeah, all right.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
I'm saving money.
By buying in bulk. Yeah. Which Dion Rising character do you think drinks the most water?
I mean, it has to be Marway, right?
It must be because everybody else is just drinking alcohol.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I bet Killian has like a pretty solid workout regimen. Maybe he drinks water when he's working out.
Do you think they had that kind of thinking, like, at that time? They're like, "Oh, I better rehydrate."
I doubt it.
Let me get my protein macro.
He's doing like pre-workout, post-workout.
What is that stuff? Is it called? It's not called creatine, is it?
That is a workout thing, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, obviously I've
That
never
is a
taken it
word
before.
that's associated with like gym bros, right? I
Yeah,
think,
that
but I don't
sounds
know.
like something I might have heard, but I don't know what it is or what it does.
Me either. I just know that I should get some protein in my diet. That's about it.
You know what? It is really hard to get protein in your diet if you're not extremely intentional about it.
Hmm.
I didn't realize just like how little protein I eat. I guess I realized how like most of my food is just carbs. But you have to
Yeah,
be extremely intentional and it's a lot of work to get enough
yeah,
protein.
yeah. When I was 19, I got blood work done because I was having these crazy migraines. I was passing out. And we found out I was pre-diabetic. I wasn't
Oh
fully
my
diabetic yet,
gosh.
but I was pre-diabetic. I had a fatty liver and high blood sugar, so I didn't have to start insulin yet, but I did have to start tracking my blood sugars, and I dropped all carbs. For a year or two, I didn't eat any carbs. And it
Wow.
was so difficult. When the doctor told me, they were like, yeah, so, or when they, told me I was pre-diabetic and they were explaining it to me, they were like, yeah, so no sweets, no ice cream. And I was like, that's easy. Like, I can drop the sweets. Like, that's dessert. That's not a main part of my food.
Right.
And then they were like, but it's bread and pasta and carbs. And I cried. That is when I cried. And I was a mess. I was like, what am I supposed to eat? I'm going to starve to death because
I
our meals are
know.
so carb based. Everything comes on a piece of bread or a pasta
Exactly, like
or
a
rice. Like,
sandwich or like your cereal and your oatmeal.
yeah.
Yeah, just like every meal we have carbs.
Yeah.
Um,
It was a miserable couple of years, let me tell you.
yeah, Bobby says I would die without carbs. Bread
Yeah.
is my life.
Yeah. Oh, fresh bread, homemade pasta. Oh man, I missed it very much. I'm careful about my carb intake now. My blood sugars have luckily been normal for the past 10 years. I got it under control. I lost a lot of weight really fast, really
Yeah, because you're
unhealthily.
like cut
Because
out
I
half your food.
like all carbs. But it was also a balance of like learning to eat protein because that was the only thing I
Yeah.
had left to fill me up.
Yeah, you got like
Oof.
protein and veggies. Like I don't know what
Yeah.
else do you eat.
Yeah, even fruit had too much sugar. I had to very much
Oh
limit
my
my fruit, which I
gosh.
love fruit. All the good things in life have sugar, man.
Yeah, yeah, you don't realize it till you stop to think about it. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Miss Rarnbeer. Dude, Adam, I still don't know how to say your screen name. Having bread with my chili.
Is it cornbread? Because cornbread, ugh, with
I
like a
don't
slab of butter on it. Yeah.
I don't think so, because he's
Mm.
Canadian. Have you had
Mm.
cornbread?
Cornbread is a delicacy. Cornbread can have my soul. Yeah, spoken like the true Southern
Yeah,
gentleman.
that's because Bobby's from the
Bobby.
South.
Yeah,
Says,
yeah.
yeah, that doesn't exist here. I wonder if Dana's had cornbread.
We're gonna have a big American Thanksgiving one
I
year.
know.
We keep planning all these holidays and vacations. We're gonna do it someday, damn it. Yeah,
Yeah,
cornbread does not exist in Canada. That's
I
very
would.
sad. We'll bring you some.
I know. I would love for us to get together. If not, we need to bring him some. Yes.
Yeah, we could mail out the box of like powdered cornbread, like just the mix, and give
Yeah.
that to people.
Yeah. So I
Although I know
haven't I haven't said anything. This is my first time I'm saying this, but I actually sent everyone little packages, and I actually had to pay customs to send something to freaking Dave because he's Canadian.
he's Canada.
Like I had to like fill out like did I say I don't think you have to pay customs, but yeah, it was like international shipping and I had to like fill out a customs form. So like I just had never done
Amazing.
that before. It was so funny.
I have not either. That's incredible. We've talked about that your love language. I think we talked about this on the podcast. Your love language is you thought it was gift giving, but it's actually acts of service. That's you doing an act of service in the form
Yeah,
of giving a
filling
gift.
out the little form.
Filling out the customs form. Because it was more than just a present, it was effort.
I will say, even though I'm excited for you guys to see the boxes, even though it is a gift, I made everything inside the box. So,
God, you are just the craftiest and the coolest. I'm so excited. When did you ship
well,
it out? I have 2 packages up by the door that I haven't looked at yet today.
no, it's not that fast. It's not
Not
that
that fast.
fast.
Okay.
I was gonna put something in chat about it to tease it. It should come to you. I think I looked at your tracking. Yours should be here Friday.
Yay! I'm so excited. Thank you in
So
advance. Ooh, I
yeah,
can't
so
wait.
it's
I'll
like
send you a picture as
Valentine's
soon as
Day
I have it.
packages. I can't wait. I have to go, but love both of you. Have a
Um,
good tea
love you,
time.
Bobby.
Bye,
Have a good night, babe.
Bobby. Thanks for popping in.
I'll talk to you
Um,
tomorrow.
oh yeah, 'cause you're an Int Mod Pod, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a podcasting fiend tomorrow night.
Oh my gosh, you're doing everything every night.
I just hop on a camera and chit chat.
Yeah, yeah.
I do best, I think.
Okay. Speaking of, um, I do want to talk about Dion and like the first act that we've gone through. I kind of want to
Mhm.
know, like, how did things go the way you thought they would go, and like, were there any surprises?
Um, okay, so transparently, it got pretty crazy at the end, me trying to write to keep up. It
I
mostly followed
know.
my story, but I
Yeah.
left my story, my overarching storyline that I've written, I left it pretty broad, so that the story kind of follows you all. So yes and no. We hit
Okay.
all the points that I needed us to hit.
Okay.
Like things like Dark Down, going to
Mhm.
Santa Fe obviously was a huge one.
Yeah.
That was what had to kick everything off. So yeah, we hit all the points I needed us to hit in order to get where we're going. But like you guys, you are creative and you play things so crazy, and so like you make decisions I can never predict. But that's what like being a DM is. So I kept it very broad, and I'm trying to think of if there's anything that really truly surprised me. I don't think there was much. You guys were pretty well like on top of following the clues. Um, Going with where the story was going. You're all very good about like following a narrative, I think.
Yeah.
So I
I
didn't have
don't
to
think
do
you
much
try to
redirect.
resist the narrative at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I did not have to do very much redirecting at all. So
Yeah.
I think yeah, so far it's gone how I expect. I'm not sure
Mhm.
how the next part will. Because you guys have a lot more
Really?
choice. You guys have a lot more choice coming up, or I guess more choices. You've always had choice, but you'll have some, as your characters, some decisions to make about where you go physically in the world and what that will mean for the long term. So your decisions start to weigh pretty heavy from Act 2.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of choices present lots of chaos.
Yes, and I love chaos. I think I'm chaotic good in alignment as a person.
I also am chaotic good too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I play D&D because I love the chaos, and it would be boring if you guys followed every step of my plan or if I didn't let the world be a little random. So some randomness is coming at you, and also some like important decisions that you guys will have to make as a team. I could not. Go ahead.
I cannot.
I was just gonna say I could not have predicted what you guys were gonna do with Dark Down. She wasn't extremely important. She will be now that she's alive, but you guys could have killed her. So that was one of those first times that I was like, I'm really giving them a choice here, and I have no idea what you guys are gonna do. You kept her alive, so that's gonna mean something in the future.
That was really, really hard. I admit, I think a lot of the group really wanted to kill her. They were really creeped out by her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had like a long back and forth about Dark Town.
I think that's wonderful. I'm glad I started a debate with it. That was the point.
Yeah, we
it
had
was
to have
sort
like
of
a poll about what to do.
Yes, it was very much an exercise in like seeing what the characters would do with like a truly morally gray, like both good and evil thing in a very evil, ugly package. So
Yes.
I think it was a good way to kind of show everybody that like not everything is what meets the eye in this world.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but I do think like her like grotesque descriptions are really what influence people a lot of the way, like more than like what she was saying or also her grotesque behaviors too, I guess. That's kind of like together.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
It's funny.
very interesting because I kind of wonder how it would have been different if she wasn't
Mhm.
so disgusting and creepy, right?
Yeah.
I thought she was kind of like, in my head, she was kind of gross, but also kind of cute in a way. I don't know how to describe it, but like,
I think she's adorable.
I think she was kind of cute. I don't know why or how to describe it, but it's like, she was like
She almost has
innocent.
this innocence
Yeah,
as Dark Down.
yeah, exactly.
Like
It's
Yurika,
so
not
cute.
so much, but Dark Down, like even though like Dark Down is the curse on the
Yeah,
person, like Dark Down is the innocence and the
yeah,
actual innocent creature.
yeah. It's
I
like,
think he's cute.
yeah, it's like there's like ugly dogs. It's like, yeah, they're ugly, but like in a way, it's
I love
kind
it. Yeah.
of cute.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. I'm very glad you guys kept her alive. She's my favorite, I think. A good foil for her is Kitten Berry, um, who
Yes,
is also sort of another innocent that I threw at you
yes.
guys. And she was not planned in any way, shape, or form. She was very much like I think I thought of her that night,
Oh
um,
wow.
as we were getting ready to play. And I was like, yeah, I'll just put this as an NPC. It'll be a cool side quest. And you guys, some of you liked her enough that you kept her as an NPC, and now I have to play her sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
Or all the time, and I'm always forgetting. I'm like, oh, there's a whole nother person here that they've just kept around,
Yeah, that
which is
happens all
fun.
the time to us too. I think us as a party, we forget too. I remember like making a reservation the other night at the dinner place. I was like, oh,
Right.
six,
7 of
seven,
us. I
seven.
like to think Kittenberry just kind of does her own thing sometimes.
She has other
Pretty
plans.
independent. So I need to do better about like folding her into the story a little bit more because like my crowd demands it. You guys like her. Like Bobby adores her.
Yeah.
Zada hates her, which I love.
I think it's so cute. Yeah.
I
I
think so
like
too.
that dynamic.
And she
Uh
is just like she was another one that I was like, they don't have to help her. But we'll see how they react differently to someone who's like classically cute, pretty, like an
yeah.
adorable character, as opposed to Dark Down. You kept them both around, so you guys aren't shallow. I'll give you that.
I don't
Clearly not about.
know. I feel like just the initial reaction to Dark Down. But hopefully next time we see come across something, it'll be different.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's more to come. Lots and lots and lots and lots more. I've also mentioned to you guys that things are about to get really deadly.
Mm.
The combat's gonna just kind of turn up a notch. I threw a dragon at you. That was my first dragon that I've
Yeah.
ever used. Spoiler alert: you shouldn't be watching Tea Time if you haven't seen the last episode. I'm just kidding. Stick around. Spoiler stuff. I don't care. But yeah, you guys fought a dragon. That was pretty fun
I
for a random side
know.
link.
Should I feel conflicted about that as Serafina?
I was wondering. I wanna tea time you. Like, does Serafina feel conflicted about fighting a dragon? Well, Serafina was pretty distracted by the pretty cloak, but
Yeah.
given time, she'd be like, "Oh shit, what did I do?"
Maybe, yeah, maybe she'll have a moment of like paranoia because I don't know if she's had a lot of time with her patron. So maybe she'll start to wonder if she was doing something bad by fighting a dragon because I don't think she has a lot of knowledge or understanding of like what a warlock is and what a patron is and what their relationship is exactly, even though she's benefiting from it and she's in that relationship. I don't know if she understands the dynamics of that relationship or maybe even like the politics of that dynamic. So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe she'll start to wonder and like
Yeah. I
yeah.
think she should.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been really interesting for Serafina and especially the past episode just cuz a lot's coming. I'm kind of nervous. I don't know how I'm going to handle what's coming next because it's weird because I feel like her secrets are my secrets now, and I'm like really determined. But I can't work that hard to keep it secret forever.
You are welcome to. I'll find my way to pry them out of you.
Is it me or is Melanie quiet now? I think I'm just leaning away from the microphone, so I will not do that. Is this better?
Hopefully,
Being
it's
able to,
better.
yeah,
I can hear her fine, but that's because we're on Discord.
I
I'm
know.
hearing her
Yeah, I
through,
think
not
because
through the.
your sound is coming through Discord.
Yeah.
Um, it's me then. Oh my gosh, maybe.
I'll tell Dane to hop on.
Oh my gosh, Dane. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Dane's messaging me on Discord, but I can't change because I'm on
Yeah, you'll
Via.
lose the screen.
So.
Oh, yep. He says your audio is pretty muffled. Oh, he says I'm here. LOL. Check your OBS output for your mic.
Okay, hold on, hold on. I can do this. I can do this.
I'll entertain the crowd.
Is this better? Is this better?
Wholly immediate response.
That's because Dane is a very dedicated member of our team.
He's tech support. He's IT,
And
and
he is
he
always
listens
there
every.
to be our our
I'm
support.
always watching Wazowski. That was great. Thank you very much, Dane.
Dane, thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for always being there to support us and yeah, just always being so available whenever we need you. It's very thoughtful. Thank you so much.
I'm sure we could try to do it without you, but I don't think it would work out well.
Yeah, we like
The quality
everything
would
would
be,
be held together with like duct tape.
yeah, not even duct tape's pretty strong. We'd be using like 4-year-old Scotch tape. It doesn't
We
have
would
any
be
stick in it.
using Bobby's old eyelash glue that he uses to put on his ears.
Oh man, I
So
forgot about the eyelash.
this is like definitely behind the scenes, and I'm so sorry, Bobby. I'm about to give away your secret. But he always like is he never has like glue on his ears, so he has like this 4-year-old eyelash glue that he uses to like
I
glue
mean,
on his ears for stream. It's so funny.
never underestimate eyelash glue.
Yeah, it's very important. Always need
Yeah.
it.
Um, what did you think? I've been dying to know and get feedback about the cold open of the last episode with
Oh my
Doses
gosh, it was
flashback.
so good. I wanted to say something in chat and like a special shout out about how much I loved it, but I haven't had a chance to. I
Thank
really
you.
really enjoyed it. It was very just cinematic and I loved like the very rich descriptions of
That's what I was going for.
Eidos. Yeah, I think I was kind of surprised how well like Ados like navigated that? Like, did he know like what the scene was gonna be, or was that just like off the cuff?
He knew very, very vaguely about the time period that the scene was going to be.
Mm.
It would be kind of him back at home. Um,
Mhm.
but he didn't know exactly what was coming by any means. It was very off the cuff. I did tell him to be prepared to improv in it in the moment. Um,
He
so
did
he was
such a
ready to
good
like enact
job.
it. He did a great job. He killed it. It was
I'm
better than I could have
so
expected.
impressed. Yeah, I don't think I would do that well. So,
Well, you'll have your turn. Don't you worry.
I feel like yeah, I feel like I'm still trying to work on my improv and like my role play. I'm trying to like lock in a little better. So I'm still working on it.
Yeah, that cold open was kind of an exercise in that, both for myself and for, I think, John Paul. Because you guys have both mentioned at various times that you both want to work on your role play and like, feel your character more.
Yeah,
And I think, obviously he's there. He crushed it.
I know. It was perfect. Yeah.
I felt like I even like could tell. I don't know if he did it on purpose or if it was just like beautiful coincidence. But it felt like a younger, different version of Ados than we know. Like his
I
tone was a little different,
know. Yes. It was like another
right?
body language. Yeah.
Yeah. He's an actor with a capital A.
he like he well yeah, he like embodied his character.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was very tasty. I was very excited. I spent like 2 nights writing that part.
Yeah, that
And then the
was
rest of
really
the time I spent
beautiful.
prepping all the lore from the library because that was so much writing.
Yeah, I love the library scene. Everything was so good. Yeah, very like all the details were just really wonderful and like fleshed out and yeah, just very
I was
rich.
I was very nervous it was gonna be too much, but it ended up being like the timing was good. You guys asked for what you needed to be asking for. I didn't have to You guys asked for some stuff that I hadn't like pulled. A lot of the stuff obviously I already had prepped. In just my other notes, I was just actually kind of fleshing it out for the actual session. But you guys didn't ask for too much that I wasn't like prepared and had like on my notes ready to go that night.
Mhm. Yeah.
The things you did ask were like relevant and important. So that was fun to have to like kind of pull stuff out of the memory banks that I hadn't thought about it.
Yeah, you like really, yeah, you're like really quick on your feet. I'm always very impressed by that.
Thank you. I feel like I'm finally starting to kind of like have the whole world in my head at one given time. It took me a while to get there. Like I've told you before, like I kind of start small with a campaign and I stay small throughout. Like I only really think about where you are at the moment or what's really important to the current moment in the story and not so much about the whole world until I have to think about that stuff. And this was definitely a practice in
Mm.
me thinking about things like that would be relevant to each of your characters. So I did spend a little bit of time going back through all of your um, character sheets, all of your character notes that I've written with you, and stuff that I've written about your characters that you guys don't even know yet.
Yeah.
Um, so I spent a little bit of time studying all that for each of you just to kind of remind myself, like, what might be important to them right now, or what might they take the opportunity to ask about if they're in a library of all the things.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
So it was a lot to prep. I'm glad we had the break time because the break time gave me the opportunity to do it and to do it
Yeah.
well.
It is so much to remember. Like, how do you remember all of those details? Because it's such a wide array of information.
Um, I went into getting ready for Dion Rising by doing a lot of writing. Obviously, I wish I could like figure out how much data is actually in just this one folder of my Google Drive. But lots and lots and lots and lots of very narrative history pages, like many, many outlines, that as you guys have explored, I've gone back, pulled some things, changed some things. So I think it's literally just been like time has been on my side that we've been in
Yeah.
this
I see.
series
It's
long enough.
just like being in
And it
the world,
Yeah.
your things are becoming just like a part of your like long-term memory.
Yeah, definitely. Like it feels like I'm remembering like Lord of the Rings lore or
Yeah.
like remembering like a book series, like The Witcher world or something. Sometimes it feels like I didn't write it, but I'm just remembering things that someone else dreamed up and that I really
Yeah.
like. because I really like what we've done with it all. So that helps too. It really feels like I'm remembering a good book and little details about the culture and the history. And that's like who I am. Like I think I'm a writer and I'm a reader. And so my brain just kind of like, I like the fun stuff.
Yeah.
It's the names they give me. I'm so bad with the names.
Really, because I feel like your names are so punny and witty. They're so adorable.
I'm not saying I make bad names. I'm bad at remembering them all.
Oh, okay.
I write great names, but
Yeah.
remembering all the great names is difficult when they're all great.
Oh, that's true.
But otherwise, yeah, it just kind of it really has just kind of become a part of my like bone structure. It's all kind of locked in, sort of. I think we'll see. Which is why I think that's why I'm also pretty protective of it. Like I don't want to expand it too far or go too deep because it feels like Dion has a lot of like really rich things for me to still discover about it.
Yeah. I remember
Like
because we were talking about the possibility of like doing one shots in Dion, but we didn't really want to. We decided against it because, I think it's something we just want to explore with you since it's like a world that you had created.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to see where you guys take it. So there's so much left to discover, and so much of it you guys will never find or figure out, and that's okay because it's all my own little book that I've written.
Yeah. Do you think we will get a chance to explore those secrets in another capacity, in another medium?
Oh gosh. I mean, probably. Like if we do a second campaign and a third campaign where I'm DMing, we're gonna either be in a different time on Dion or we'll be on one of the other 3 heart planets. That may or may not know some of Dion's history that you guys wouldn't have discovered or wouldn't be able to discover. Yeah, just like Myth Rondir just said, like, yeah, I have so many ideas that I'm going to reuse and recycle if they don't get used here. But that's also a reason why I try and...
Rondir.
I don't know, Myth Rondir? Myth Rondir. Give us a phonetic pronunciation of that.
Can you put the phonetic pronunciation? Holy crap,
Holy crap, she said it right. Myth Rondir. Thank you.
Miss Rondir.
Because I write all these crazy elven names in places.
It sounds like is this an Elvish name? What is this? Tell us about this name.
I know Mithrandir is something from Norse mythology or something. And then like Rar, I'm guessing. Mithrandir. I'm guessing. Yes. Okay. Mithrandir is Gandalf. Yes, that's what it is. It's Lord of the Rings. Duh.
Is it?
Oh yeah, I have a friend whose cat is named Myth. It's my friends who play in my Monopoly group. The lawyer and his CFO wife, they have a cat named Mithrandir, and its nickname is Myth because it's Gandalf.
Oh, all the wizards from Lord of the Rings are... Oh, is that like a title? Is that a title?
No, they're not all Mithrandir. They're all oh god, what are they called? They're the Maiar? The Maya? Yeah, they're all like essentially the wizards. So the wizard, I'm about to get real nerdy. The wizards.
I'm about to learn. I need to take some notes.
Fabulous. There's so much. So Lord of the Rings is very kind of inspired by the Bible, but very much not. Like the wizards, like Gandalf, are all sort of angels.
Okay.
Who are sent to deal with like the Great Darkness, Sauron, and before him, the other big bad evil guy. Yeah, it's the elven name. So Mithrandir is what the elves call Gandalf.
I see.
And now that we have the show The Rings of Power, which is like set way before Lord of the Rings, during like the rise of Sauron, they kind of retconned things so that the name Gandalf came from the hobbits who call him Grand Elf. Like, because he's tall and he's old, they're like, he's Grand Elf, so it becomes Gandalf.
I see. How do you feel about that?
I think it's cute because I think all things related to the hobbits are cute. It's not canon, but I'm not like a canon purist, so it's fine. Yeah. I'm enjoying the show, so I think it's cute. Otherwise known as the Grey Wanderer, yes. Sorry, he's Gandalf the White now, biatch. I love Lord of the Rings very, very much. Anyway, yeah. Don't read Lord of the Rings because it'll spoil some Dion Rising stuff. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I did not get any inspiration, I don't think, from Lord of the Rings. But I'm about to start playing in a campaign with the new Lord of the Rings 5e rule set, which is
Oh,
brand
really?
yeah, my actually one of my friends in my Gods Monopoly group, um, he's the one who made the pamphlet with the bank, and
Yes, with the
so
money.
yeah, so I told you about how he wants to do a campaign that's not homebrewed first before we do
Yes, and it's gonna be Lord of the Rings.
and I bought for him for his birthday a Lord of the Rings 5e like rule book that just came
Wow.
out. I was like, I want someone to DM this campaign so I can play in it. Yeah, Myth Rondir. It is. I haven't started the campaign yet, so I can't tell you how good it is. But we've made our characters, and we have a session 0 coming up,
Wow.
and it's gonna be
Are you
so
gonna
fun. It
wait,
has
wait,
its
hold on,
own.
hold on, hold on. We talked about this because you're gonna be a shield maiden, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember this. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I decided I'm gonna be an elf instead of a human. I'm gonna be a wood elf. Um and I'm gonna fuck shit up as a shield maiden, basically.
Oh
I
my
gave her an
gosh.
elf name that means daughter of the shield. I don't remember it off the top of my head.
That is
Because I
so
made her
cool.
backstory like her father was like a famous like guardian of Middle Earth, and now she's taking up his mantle as the daughter of the shield. It's gonna be
Wow.
cute, it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna get to play with hobbits. Our home base is gonna be the Shire. It's what I've always dreamed. I'm
Oh my
mixing like
gosh.
my two favorite worlds. And it's about damn time because halflings are hobbits. They just couldn't use the word hobbit. I don't
Oh.
Lord of the Rings is very is a big inspiration for dragon or for Dungeons and Dragons. The more you know.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of our fantasy conceptions are from like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Tolkien he was ahead of his damn time. Lots and lots and lots of lore though. I'm never gonna be that good.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm never gonna know the name in every language for every character, that's for sure. Nor write them. Oh wow. Okay, back to Dion though. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
you guys will find most of what I write because I'll make sure of it.
Yeah, I want to discover it. I think it'll be really fun and exciting to just find little tidbits.
Yeah, I'm finding it hard to make sure that I don't like go too big and like expect a life-changing, like world-changing war from you guys. I keep having to remind myself like this can be smaller scale. Tone it back
Yeah.
a little. They don't have to know everything about the history of the earth and the gods, but I wanna go deep like that.
Yeah, I feel like because we read a lot of very epic novels, we want a very epic story. But I think
Yeah.
there is something really beautiful about a smaller story, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, like I want you guys to like make a difference, but not save the entire planet and
Yeah.
existence. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find where on that spectrum we're
I
gonna
like
fall.
that. Yeah, I like
Yeah, and your
that.
guys as characters aren't like set up to be that epic hero. You are in your own sort of sphere of influence, but I don't think it's going to be something where you guys have to save the entire planet and history of humanity.
Yeah.
You never know, maybe you will.
Next campaign.
Yes, yeah, we'll go big then. We'll do Spelljammer and we'll hit the stars.
Do you think that's something you would be interested in? Is having like a very epic story
Yeah, I think
one
I'm
day?
naturally inclined to want because I like high fantasy the most. And I love epic tales. So yeah, I think that's what I'm more naturally inclined to do, and I'm holding myself back from doing that right now.
Okay.
So I feel like if given the opportunity to do a great epic worldwide tale of war and chaos and love and heroism, I think I would thrive.
Oh my gosh. Now I kind of want that for next time around, maybe.
We'll get there. I think we'll get
Yeah.
there. Because
We
if
can
I keep
build
being the
up to
DM,
it.
we're
Yeah.
gonna do it. But I think
Hmm.
I'd give you guys fair warning so that you can write characters who,
That would like
you know,
fit into that role.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
anti-heroes or big time heroes.
Yeah.
Mm, beautiful. Yeah. I love DMing. It's hard. Time is like not on my side most days. I could always do more, I feel like, as a DM.
Yeah, like
There's
how
just
do
not
you
enough.
know when to like stop? Is it just time? You're like, I've run out of time. We're starting.
Yep. I realize that I'm down to the last couple hours before we're gonna stream, and I say, okay, this is the best I can do for now, or I gotta flesh out this one part that I know they're gonna hit,
Yeah.
and that's it. If when I have a free moment and I'm feeling inspired, I will hyper focus and just write about the campaign, like write out the next set of sessions, or like in detail, or I'll go back into my overarching story timeline, like the very broad timeline. And I'll rework that and make sure I'm still fitting in all the details there. But I'll do that for like 2 days straight, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be burnt out on it and not inspired, and we'll go through a few sessions with what I've got, and then I do it
Yeah.
all again.
Oh, it's like,
So,
yeah, it's like a really feast and famine cycle.
mhm. And I think that's just kind of who I am. We've talked about like how we both like to like hyper focus on a thing, like have a podcast or a show that you've watched 1,000 times and just like paint tons of
Yes,
tiny
I
repetitive.
love that.
So I think that's
Ah,
what this is for me. Like it's like a time-consuming, repetitive task of writing and looking up names and going back in the history and writing, all while like hyper focused on it. And then when I'm done, I'm done, and I wait
yeah.
for my next like round of that to come up. My body just kind of, my brain kind of tells me when it's time to sit down and get out my laptop. And usually I do it like instead of at my computer set up here, I grab my laptop and I lay in bed for 2 days, and I just do it while laying in bed. My husband comes in and I'm like got blankets up over my head and I'm like a little troll just typing away with my laptop right up against my face. And I have Dimension 20 on on the TV, and I'm just Dungeons and Dragons, and that's all I'm thinking about. It's
Wow.
I can't have children. They would not have an effective mother.
Wow, that's so interesting how you get into these like bursts of creativity. Because I think for me it's hard because I think with like a lot of those like hobbies that I'm describing, those are very like I have a path like laid out before me, right? Like I just have to follow the
Like one
steps. Like
point.
I'm like following a recipe or like I'm knitting with like a pattern. So I think it's harder for me to take under those like creative endeavors because I feel like it's so hard to get myself in that mode of like creativity. So like it's very interesting to hear about your process.
Yeah, and it never comes when I like actually have the time to like flesh it out, which is a
Yeah,
bummer. Like I have to try and like take whatever inspires me and like store that away until I'm ready or have the time to flesh it out.
I
So like it's
see.
not great the way I do it. It's not the healthiest way of functioning. Um and it's hard to like know when to stop, especially for something like Dungeons and Dragons, because there is too much planning. I've talked about this before. Like you
Yeah,
can do too much as a DM, and to the point where you get frustrated that you have all this lore that they're not finding, or 1,000 different things go wrong and you use none of what you've written, or your party just veers off to the left and you want it to go right. So there is a certain amount that I have to say, like, I'm doing too much some of the time, even though I'm inspired by this one,
yeah.
like, thread of thought for this one character. I have to know when to tell myself, like, wait until you're at a point where you know this is going to be useful and a good use of your time. Because just
Yeah,
in general, like, I'm very busy. I don't
yeah.
have a ton of time to devote to writing Dungeons and Dragons. So the time I do have is, like, precious, and I have to use it to its biggest potential and have the good payoff.
I see. I see.
I hate wasting time. So I do have to tell myself when I have enough to keep going and not too much. It's a delicate balance, and I
Yeah,
don't
I feel like
know if
yeah, I
I've,
was like
I
there's a
don't know if I've found it
really interesting sweet spot that you're describing.
yet. Yeah. I mean, I have fun doing it still, so that's good. I just don't always want to. Like, I'm not always in the mood to do it. So
Yeah.
I have to use that inspiration when it hits. And usually it's based on something from my players. Um, Something from your character storyline, or it's almost never me being able to inspire myself about something. You guys always have something to do with me um finally being able to like put the last act of your guys' story in, or
Mm.
um figure out an NPC that we've been missing all along that I need to put in a certain place. It's always something that will come up with you guys playing, and I'll realize like, remind myself that this is something I need to write.
I see. I
Yeah,
see. So
so
it's
it
kind
is
of like
largely inspired. group.
like filling a need that you're like anticipating for the character in the story.
Yeah, very much yes. Yeah. For instance, writing Ados's cold open,
Yeah.
that was really just based on that, like, we haven't gotten to like pull the secrets out of Serafina and Ados yet. Bula either.
Yeah.
And I had to start kind of peeling away those layers as the DM myself. And that was just a good way to do it. I was like, ooh, it's going to be really tasty after 2 weeks gone for us to just jump into this kind of dark and depressing kind of
Yeah.
backstory for a character that we know nothing about yet. And
Yeah.
that also kind of helped to preserve Ados's like current character, like his actual character trait
Yeah,
of
he
not being
wouldn't
willing to talk about
reveal. Yeah.
it. Yeah, he
He
doesn't
wouldn't
have to
share
be the
stuff.
one to reveal it, or like
Yeah.
Ados doesn't have to like have a touching like poetic moment of opening up when he's not ready
Yeah.
for that. Ados
Yeah.
isn't gonna start opening up just yet. So I was like, I can show a little bit, but it won't change what Ados is currently doing.
Yeah.
So
That's very good.
that
That's
was
very
fully inspired by
clever.
a need.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. So it's always something like that. Like I see a need and I'm going to write to fill it. And then that's very satisfying. And I have a good, like, okay, I'm done. I can stop writing. I have what I need.
Yeah, that's very interesting because I do feel like Serafina and Ados, like in their story, they're supposed to be close, but I don't think you can have a moment of them talking about it because I feel like they've already talked about it before things have already begun. So it's like very strange to even bring it
Yeah.
up again. So yeah, it's hard. And then like everyone else is so new. So yeah, that's like a very challenging situation. So I think that's a very clever solution.
Yeah. So I, as the DM, I didn't want to put it all on you and John Paul to figure out how to navigate that while still having natural character moments.
Yeah.
Um, and as a DM, I can help by just like revealing things outside of your control, basically. With your permission, but outside of your character's control. And also, it keeps it from being revealed to the rest of the group. The players get to know it, but the characters don't. So there's some
Yeah.
fun to be had there. And just as the DM and the one who's playing God, I get to like be cinematic sometimes and just give a lore dump that has nothing to do with what's actually happening in the moment. And yet can kind of like color John Paul's decisions on how he's going to play Ados and give even him a little bit more insight and like a really
Yeah, like
concrete, like
direction.
he wrote
Yeah.
he wrote basically all of what I did there. He gave
Yeah.
me where
Yeah.
he's from, what his family's like, what happened to him in the past. He wrote that. I just
Yeah.
made it cinematic. I just gave
Yeah.
it some really colorful description. But I think those kind of things help make it concrete and solid for the person playing the character. Like it's almost creating the memory for them. It's not
Yeah.
just a written story on a piece of paper. It's like
Yeah.
I made him live it a little bit,
Yeah.
which I think I get a power trip from it.
No, yeah, I love that. That was very delicious.
Thank you. Thank you. There's so much more to come. I don't know, something about this past winter break. I think I've leveled up as a DM, perhaps. I can feel myself like
Really?
re-inspired, I think.
You've like gained a level. Yeah, I always wonder what it feels like to level up in like Dungeons
Yeah.
and Dragons. Like, is there a feeling?
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like
I think Kara leveled up as my class's DM. And I leveled up, and I think I hit like level 5 because it feels like I got a new feat. And it was cinematic flashback. And it's like I get advantage on it now, which is great. And it really, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, I really just feel like something clicked in my head where I was like, oh, this is a skill I have. Use this. Like, I follow so much media. I read a lot. I watch a lot of TV and movies. And those are all things that inspire me to be
Yeah.
a better DM. So I was like, just do what a good TV show does and start with a character flashback. Who cares that it's Dungeons and Dragons? Do it like a movie. So I did,
Yeah.
and it worked.
No,
And
it was perfect. I loved it.
yeah, and then the rest of I felt like the rest of the whole thing went really well that episode because you guys were like leaning into the research at the library, not just for the main storyline, but for your own characters. That was very fun for me to like plan and then to execute. And then we had a dragon fight at like an auction with a bunch of people around on a really cool map that I had fun making.
That was really nice. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So I felt going into this episode after the break, I did really feel like confidence that I haven't had, I think, for the last couple episodes of Dion, frankly.
Yeah, it did feel different. I don't know. I can't put my finger on what it is exactly, but it just felt like richer and deeper and I don't know, more real.
I think it was. I
I
think
don't
I
know how to describe it. Yeah.
And I don't think it was just me either. Like I know I did really good writing getting ready for this
Yeah.
episode. But you guys also it felt like leveled up a little in your playing. Like you all came with your A game throughout the whole thing. Like the library scenes were phenomenal. The way you guys reacted to like just like the living like the
Oh,
artificial
the
intelligence
indexing,
thing.
yeah.
I was like this is fantastic. Like it was so fun to play even in the small moments like you guys really like focused in on what was frankly a really long lore dump and history dump about a whole nother part of the world. Um yeah, that was a fun one and I feel like as a group something clicked. And I'm not saying we were not doing well before, but it felt really good this last episode.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of makes me wonder how we're gonna like continue meshing together and like how we're gonna like move as a group and like grow as
Yeah.
a group together. And then it also made me think about what our next campaign is gonna be like. And yeah, I don't know. I think this is all very interesting.
Yes,
Like,
I agree.
because it's very interesting because it's like we're growing closer as characters, but then also as friends too. And sometimes it's hard to tease out those differences, right? Like, are the characters meshing or are we meshing as people? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, I totally agree. And like, I mean, who's known each other longer now, us or the party? I should really figure out how long it's been since you all met as characters, so we can see which is developing
Yeah,
faster.
I don't know.
Because you guys, as characters, you've traveled pretty far already. But then I was looking back at my notes and I was like, we've really only had 20 sessions. That's it.
Yeah, that's not that long, yeah.
Doesn't really go on. So
Yeah, we can't be
yeah,
spilling
very interesting.
secrets like willingly.
Yeah,
After.
yeah, we gotta hold stuff for the end. We still have a final act left to go. We gotta keep
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, there will
Speaking
be
of,
reveals.
can you give us any clues about what to expect in the upcoming act?
Sure. Okay.
Like, oh, it's like we need like a trailer.
Okay. Oh, okay. This is good practice in improvisation. Okay. I'm trying to think of what will reveal too much. Um, your characters met, um, fell into a tentative agreement to protect the weak and solve a problem.
Mhm.
And where most of you were strangers before, you've all found you have a lot in common. However, um, many of you still hold some frankly dark secrets, and some of you hold darker secrets than you would expect. Act 2 is going to it's going to tease those secrets a little bit further into the light for some of you,
Okay.
and it's going to bring problems from the past that are still unsolved into the present.
Okay.
Maybe not for everybody, but for many of you.
This is very
Um,
vague.
you're
Wait,
all
what?
going to have to make some choices about. You're all going to have to make some choices between, frankly, family and friends, or family and found family, or your past and who you want to be in the future. I think that's all I'm willing to reveal. It's going to be this is going to be an act that's going to be very personal for some of you.
It feels like there's going to be some life-defining moments coming up.
Probably. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And it's going to challenge this team dynamic that your characters have built.
You think it could
Because
fracture?
I don't know if it will fracture, but some of you will have to make sacrifices for some of the others. I'll say that. There's not going to be time for everything you guys want to get done or need to get done. So you'll have to all make a choice as a group on how you manage maybe having to split the party or let some things go unfixed.
Oh my gosh. How do you feel as a DM about splitting the party? Especially
Well, I
on
don't
a
want to.
stream
I typically
show?
I don't want to do it because it's especially not for a long term. I think like within a combat encounter, hilarious, or within a
Yeah.
dungeon, awesome, like
Yeah.
great. And a good like exercise in learning how to do combat without a whole group. I don't actually want to like split the party for any like significant amount of time, just because it's boring for 3 people to sit there while the other 3
Yeah.
narrate a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Do a bunch of stuff. Yeah. However, there may come a point where you guys have to make decisions that could result in a bit of a fracture of the group, or like I said, like have to decide who's going to sacrifice for the group to stay together. Yeah, that's all I'll say.
That's pretty juicy. Oh no, Seraphina's pretty selfish.
Yeah. I want to start to like pick at the paint of the group a little bit.
Oh no,
Group
we
that
just
works really well
met.
together. It's very democratic. Yeah.
We have polling.
Yes. You guys need to have a good voting system like we have polls in the Knights of D20.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for giving us some riddles that we have to untangle. It was very mysterious.
You're so welcome. It's always fun to make you all nervous.
Thank you so much for coming on and spilling some secrets and giving us a look back at our first act.
Thank you for having me. This is always a damn pleasure. I love doing it. I'll see you after the second act.
Alrighty. Bye. Have a good evening, everybody. And Miss Rondier. Miss Rondier.
Nailed it.
Miss Rondier.
Nailed it.
All right. Have a good evening, guys.